on Clubhouse Gas, we catch up with the Big O, Orestes Destrade, once again here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. We ask him a whole host of topics, including about his youth sports experience and why ESPN has made such a commitment to Little League. It's all right now on Clubhouse Gas. Joined now by Orestes Destrade. Big O, this is your second time on the show. That means you are officially friend of the show.
I am, man. This is my third year here at the beautiful Williamsport, and second time with you guys, so I feel like a regular already.
So we're here with the opening ceremonies, and I wanted to talk to you about ESPN and their involvement in Little League. They've made a huge commitment to youth baseball and Little League World Series in general. What are they seeing as the payoff as far as that commitment goes? Why the interest?
Well, this is the second year of an 8-year contract that they signed with Little League World Series to cover this great event. And I think you got to go back in time and with, in reference move forward. And that is, ABC and the connection between ABC and ESPN and the fact that ABC's been covering this for many, many years. And it's logical because we see all the drama, the great storylines, the exciting play, and people have been following this not just since ESPN's been doing it, but we've been following it for a lot of years. But now, ESPN can really, elaborate and show more of the greatness, more games, and more of the storylines. So it just makes sense.
What kind of feedback and response does ESPN get during the Little League World Series from around the country?
Well, I know I can talk personally about individually the feedback, and man, I'm pretty busy over there with thank goodness with ESPN doing ESPN Radio, the Baseball Tonight, a few games here and there. But I get so much more feedback from these 2 weeks here than almost anything else. So, but in general, very, very positive. There are people I think are overly happy that all the games are covered, and not just the domestic teams here, but the international teams. So you get a mixture of all the different type of flavors of players.
Our viewers always want to hear when we talk to big leaguers and former big leaguers about their youth sports experience, and we didn't talk to you about that last year.
Right.
Talk about what it was like for you growing up playing baseball.
Well, I came over from Cuba at 6 years old. We obviously communist Cuba. We snuck out through Mexico and settled in Miami, where most of the Cubanos live, and I started playing organized baseball around 8 years old at Tamiami Little League in Miami, and thankfully I grew up in a town where you could play all year round,
Right.
So I had Little League, Curry League, Pony League, every league known to man, and my dad had me in it because I loved the game, along with playing a lot of basketball too, so that was always a big a sport that I loved too, but there was never a lack of opportunity of playing, players, coaches, and places to play, so I was very blessed.
You talk about playing baseball all year long, but also playing basketball. As you travel around and cover these games, talk to parents and coaches, do you sometimes worry about parents pushing these young ones too hard and maybe specializing in baseball and trying to turn them into a big leaguer at 11?
Yeah, it does happen, and I think the reason for it, more so than when maybe you and I were kids, is the fact that now so much of publicity is out there, so much coverage of the sports, especially on the internet, and they're seeing the dollars. They're seeing, so-and-so signed for $40 million. So then they get their, the parents get a little convoluted and think that little Johnny at 8 or 9 or 10 is going to be a big leaguer. And you don't know. He might be the top player at 10 or 11 or 12, but a lot of changes come about when you get into your really teen years. That's when you can really see if a kid's going to either have the actual skill level and also the determination, because it takes a kid that really wants to sacrifice and practice to become a big leaguer.
You've played all over the world, and so you've seen many different personalities. We interviewed Jeff Francoeur and Brian McCann's father at one point, and they talked about Francoeur and McCann playing all summer when they were young, and how Francoeur burned out and quit baseball, and McCann couldn't get enough. Do you see those different personalities within Major League Baseball and in Japan?
Totally, yeah. I mean, there's guys that are incredibly talented, but maybe they need the breaks. They just need it, and other guys need to be out there every day. So you got to, that's another thing I was talking about. When you get them on 14, 15, 16, you have to know the personality of the kids. All kids aren't the same, and you can't have that one finite way of doing things. But as long as he's talented and he wants to really play, don't burn them out. But then some other kids you got to reel in,
right,
and make sure that they don't, work over hard. Francoeur was one that obviously liked football, so maybe that combination of him being also a football star kind of clashed at times. And that's another topic, which is you get to a point of 17, 18, you have to kind of make a choice if you're seriously about college, level play, high college level play, or professional play. You almost got to start making a decision which one you're going to lean to.
Few changes this year. The one that's in the media the most is the instant replay. What are your thoughts, and how's it going to affect the play?
I think the instant replay is a positive thing because they did not go crazy with with trying to bring instant replay on every single judgment play. This is mainly on a distance play. By that I mean, you know, the walls, the home runs, mostly a foul line, you know, fair or foul. With the home runs, they had an issue back in '05 with a game. I think it was a Canadian umpire where, you know, it was, you know, blatantly missed. But again, the sight line sometimes, and remember, these guys are all volunteer umpires, so. You know, that I agree with, but I'm glad they didn't take it to, like, plays at second or at any of the bases where you don't have a distance problem. And baseball is about, you know, a little bit of, umpires being fallible. So that's part of the game. The kids need to learn that.
All right, so we've come to that point. You've seen a couple of teams practice. Who are the favorites at this point?
Well, right now, the teams that I've seen, the team from Connecticut, Shelton, is very, very talented, has 3, you know, really top-notch pitchers, and you know how much pitching is important. And then the other team I like, you know, Japan's always so strong, and I think Team Japan's going to be also in it. They, you know, I've talked to their coach, and they sound like they're focused. So, again, maybe a Japan, you know, U.S. kind of tie is going to be again at the end.
Well, my boss wanted me to remind you that last year you told us Texas, and not only did you tell us Texas, you got me to agree with you, which got me in a lot of trouble being that I went to Warner Robins High School.
All right.
So it got me in a lot of trouble. So whatever Orestes says, go the other way, and the big guy too.
Georgia again, but they're not here.
So the last question is, you get to be in the booth with the Bulldog at least one game. Are you going to rib him about taking him deep?
You know, I might have to bring it up. I mean, in fact, I'm going to see if I can, the research team, the crack research team we got here for ESPN, can pull up that, you know, that one jack I hit against, you know, one of the best pitchers of the last 20 years. But he won't be too happy about it.
You got to pull up the stats about home runs versus strikeouts.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You know, don't put the average or strikeouts. Just put that one jack that I got lucky about.
Well, Big O, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you.
Good luck to you.
Ash can do it for us today. He's Big O. I'm Big Bass, and we'll see you right back here next time for another great edition of Clubhouse Gas.